Okay, here it is, the end of a muddy spring crappie season. I have everything taken apart, so I decided I'd show off my graph setup since a few people asked. Just using pull ties and half-inch PVC and half-inch PVC connectors. It's a pretty solid mount there. I'm using relatively weak connectors because I want them to break before any of the more expensive Humminbird components. So everything kind of comes together with gravity and friction, and when I'm moving through the water, the way I have it notched to the right there, it pegs the transducer to the boat and keeps the image pretty clear. See, it just kind of snaps together with one hand. I can deploy that either on the water or off the water. Stores pretty well. And this is painted so the UV light won't make the plastic brittle. So you can see it's just below the surface of the boat where the transducer sits. There's the graph head. It's mounted on the cutting board that I used a heat gun to bend, and then block of wood. And that just sits there with gravity. There's my 3400 series Plano battery box. Use a 10 AA battery holder inside. I use 2 of them, and that gives me enough juice to keep my Humminbird 700 series side imaging running pretty much all day if I have the backlighting turned low. When I had a Lowrance, I only had 8 batteries in here, and I just kept upgrading as I upgraded the graph. And the nickel metal hydride runs at a lower voltage, so it's good to have 10 in a series. And then I have these 2 battery holders mounted in parallel, so the red and the red and the black are on each terminal. And this gives me, when it's fully charged, about 14.5 volts, but it does go down quickly, and there's a voltage drop when you run the voltage into the unit itself. So I don't know, some units can run at low voltage, but I found with this Humminbird you need to keep it high. If I had a little more room, I'd probably have a 12 battery pack if such a thing existed. But here I'm testing the voltage after running it for a few hours, and it's still at 13.2, which is pretty good. So I use the EBL 2800 nickel metal hydride batteries. Got those on Amazon. There's a pretty good price. They come with battery chargers, so I can just charge everything up at once overnight. And when I store these, I take one of the batteries out, like the last battery in the pack, and then that will keep the setup safer to store, because you don't want this melting down on you when you're not around. Now this is a lot safer, I think, though, than the lithium batteries, which if you were to get wet, in theory could have a catastrophic meltdown on your boat, burn a hole in it or something. Or even maybe the lithium iron, which is a kind of expensive option that I've seen that's supposedly safer, but I have seen those melt down a bit. But this is all right for me. It's so here's the bend you can see in the transducer. That just kind of keeps it pegged against the boat a little better when it's moving. See, the transducer itself is just below the bottom of the boat, so it gives a good side imaging and still cuts through the water pretty good. Those bent PVC arms hold the thing in place when it's moving without a lot of wiggle, and I can just detach it with one hand, and if I want to, I can actually just point the transducer at whatever I'm interested in at an angle. So it's sort of like a poor man's 360, but it's definitely useful from time to time. Anyways, thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Goodbye.